Hello, welcome back to Color Me Impressed. It is the middle of November and I am finally getting around to sharing my completed pages for last month. Since I'm so late, I decided that I'm going to show you all of the completed pages I've done since the beginning of my adult coloring journey. That was late April, early May. I'm going to start this video with the oldest completed pages that I have and work my way through to the most recent from October. So I'm starting in Home Sweet Home by Teresa Goodridge, and I've shown this page in other videos. This was the first page that I worked on. I did this exclusively in Crayola colored pencils. What I did was looked up a color palette on Pinterest and stuck to this pretty limited color palette that you can see. Looks like some greens and purples, browns, and beige. And, you know, I think it's a good first effort. I did some blending and shading that you can see there. I also tried to do a little bit more of distressing on the page. So you can see that on this coat hook here and on the sign. But, you know, I made some mistakes with that umbrella, tore the page a little bit. So I think this is a good starting point. And this is kind of where I was at when I first started coloring. So I think that's all there is to say about that. That was from the Creative Haven Home Sweet Home. Next, I picked up this New York street style shortly after I got Home Sweet Home. This is by Zoe de las Casas. And this is a really cute book, has a lot of fashion in here. And I only have done this page that I kind of made into a double page spread. It's not completely colored, but I don't really have a connection to this page anymore, so I'm calling it done for now. But I like what I did with the chalkboard here. Again, this is all in Crayola colored pencils because that was all that I had at the time. So, you know, again, I think I just tried to do a little bit of shading and blending. Also on the woman on the opposite page, you know, I still have a little bit of work to do, but I'm calling it done. Part of the reason why I was done with this page is because I tried coloring the background in exclusively colored pencils, and that just took a lot out of me. So, but yeah, this is a really cute book. You know, there's a lot of flat lays, a lot of good hair in this book as well. And then, of course, they have some patterned pages here and there. So this is a really cute book series. They also have Paris Street Style and Tokyo Street Style that I do want to pick up at some point, but keeping in mind that this book is two-sided. Next up, we have some PDFs that I worked on. These will be a little bit out of order because I'm showing the first PDF that I completed in here, and it's this beautiful Lotus flower lady. This is by Lenka Filanenko, and again, I've shown this in previous videos. This was the first Grayscale portrait that I did. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I actually think, especially this style Grayscale, is a good place for colorists to start learning about shading because it's already pre-shaded for you. So I kind of followed that to color this, and I believe this was the first page that I used Prismacolors on. So I used that for the metallic stuff on this page, and I think I also used some Crayolas for maybe her dress, some of the lily pads, things like that, the flowers. And I also used some eyeshadow on the background, I believe. So I had a lot of fun with this page. It was a freebie. And I think, you know, I really enjoyed doing it. I also used the single Copic marker that I have to do her skin and layered the pencil over that. So that was my first time doing that. The next page is from Hanna Lynn's Patreon group. This was done much more recently, I would say probably in early October. And the way Hanna's Patreon works is that she provides a simplified version of a page and a complex version of a page. And I decided to opt for the more complex version because I really wanted to color all of these beautiful fall elements on the page, like the pumpkin, the leaves, the sunflowers, all of that good stuff. Usually I like to do the simplified versions because I'm lazy. So I wanted to do a lot more for this page. And, you know, you'll see I used a lot of different things on this page. I did a base of Cali Art alcohol markers, and I did some polychromos, just a little bit on the top, I think, for the skin. And then I did some glitter marker on some of the sunflowers and a little bit of other elements on the page. And then I also used some gel pen on her eyes and a little bit on the swing ropes as well. I'm really enjoying the technique of covering up some of the line work with gel pen. I think it just looks kind of cool, you know, to make it a little more unique. And yeah, I like how this turned out. All right, next up we have Whimsy Girls at Work by Hanna Lynn. This was one of my first coloring books and definitely my first Hanna Lynn book. And right here, the first picture I did in this is the Rosie the Riveter page from the cover. This was actually my first portrait that I ever did. And I used a Copic marker for the skin, and then I went over that with some Prismacolors, I believe. When did I complete this? Yeah, early May. And I also used a little bit of Crayola, some metallic gel pen. I did some eyeshadow for the background. So, you know, I think that was my kind of style. I did some glitter marker on her eyeshadow and a little bit in her eyes as well, just trying some new stuff there. Just did little dots. So I don't really know if you can see it sparkle too much. But yeah, you know, I had a lot of fun with this page. I still, you know, I was working with the Prismacolors for one of the first times, and I colored a little too hard on some of it, and there's a little bit of residue left. It's just, you know, Prismacolors don't really gel as much with my coloring style because I tend to layer a lot. So, you know, it is what it is. The next page in this book is this cute little Barista Girl. I did this in May as well, and this was when I was really missing coffee shops. I did a similar style to some of the other pages that I did, where I used a mixture of Prismas and Crayolas, and I kind of used the style that I was adopting, where I colored a little bit more darker around the edges of things and lighter in the middle. I still honestly do that to give it a more shaded effect without actually doing anything with light theory or anything like that. What else did I use on this page? I think I used a lot of the metallic Prismacolor for those metallic elements on the page, and then I also did a little bit more shading on this chalkboard in the background. For her hair, I used a Posca pen, I believe, on top, and then smeared it with my finger like this, and it shows. It definitely looks like Posca smeared on her hair, so that was something that didn't go super well. Tried to make it look highlighted, but, you know, overall it's a cute page, though. I enjoyed doing that. Next up, we have Spirit Animals by Hanna Karlzon. I love, love, love this book. I need to work in it more. I actually have a page going right now. But this is one of the first pages that I've ever done. I was working on it here and there in between other things, and I really like how it turned out. It was a labor of love for sure. I used Prismacolors and Crayolas again on this page. I looked at some reference photos. I really did my homework on this page, I guess. And I used some eyeshadow on the background as well. Of course, you can see I did some metallic gel pen, some white Posca, the whole 9 on this page. And then for the face, I actually was coloring this while I was watching a Chris Cheng tutorial, so that was fun. Yeah, so that's from Spirit Animals by Hanna Karlzon. All right, the next book I have is Coffee Animals Coloring Book, and this is just a really cute book. There are these cute little sayings about coffee with cute animals, of course, and then actually recipes for coffee drinks. This book actually comes up a lot when you search coloring books on Amazon. I do have another one with alcoholic drink recipes as well. So this is cute, and this is actually one of the first times that I was using alcohol markers on a larger surface area. So it's definitely not the best. It went really quickly, but you can kind of see there's areas where it just kind of looks very streaky. So I tried to cover it up with pencil to kind of make it look intentionally bad. Don't know if it was super successful, but you know, I had a lot of fun doing this. I tried to do some other blending and such on these leaves. You can kind of see I just used 2 different colors there. So it was just experimenting and having fun with this one. And so I don't know who is the publisher of this book. I don't think it says anywhere. Okay. But yeah, here is this, and that's what the back looks like. All right, next up, we have the only book I have by Edwina Namee. This is Tropical Ocean. Again, this was one of the first books I got. It was gifted to me, and this book is just so cute. It's similar to other books of Edwina Namee's, where the front half is the white pages, and then the back half has the black backgrounds, so kind of gives it a different feel for those black background pages. And so for this book, I thought I was going to do something that I saw Karen at Zucchini Kitty do, where she used a color palette that was the same for every page in the book. So I was doing something similar, where I thought I would take some of these pages from the colors from the front cover and use these colors, that pink, purple, green, that orangish yellow. And I was going to use it for every page in this book. But of course I didn't get around to all of the pages, but I did do this little cute turtle here. This was before I really knew Dani Buttons, but we'll say that this page was for her because she loves turtles. This page was fun to do, but I don't know. I'm just not super happy with the results of how the shading looks on this turtle. But, you know, I still had fun doing it. This was exclusively with Crayola colored pencils, and I was pressing really hard to get some of these variances in colors and shading, so you can kind of see that throughout the page. I was doing that same color palette, and then I did use some glitter. I don't know if you can really see it here, but I did some glitter on the turtle's shell, glitter marker. So yeah, that's about it. But yeah, this is just such a cute book. I can't wait to color more in here. So that was Tropical Ocean by Edwina Namee. Okay, and Chibi Girls by Jade Summer. We all love this book, don't we? I have a lot done in here, and I've done a few buddy colors in here, actually. This is one of the first books that I was doing buddy colors in, I think. So I have these out of order, really, but this is one of the first pages in this book. It's this cute little witch, and this was actually a buddy color with Meg from Meg's Art Atrium on Instagram, so I'll link her down below. This was done in September, I think, right before everyone was getting crazy about Halloween. I just really wanted to color Halloween stuff and witches, things like that. And Meg, the sweetheart that she was, went along with me wanting to color witches too early. So we did this page. I used Cali Art markers for a lot of it, and her skin kind of ended up a little weird since I did quite a few layers, but that's okay. And then this was one of the first pages where I was going over lines with gel pen. So I started with her hair, going over it with silver, and then I just thought it looked so cool. So I decided to go over some of the other lines on the page with gel pen. So you'll see that in her hat and some of the steam coming out of the cauldron. I don't know if you can see, but I also did some glitter on the steam and some Posca to cover some of those lines as well, just to make it look a little more magical. And then I have some other glitter throughout the page. I just had so much fun doing this one. It was definitely one of those pages where I should have stopped at a certain point, that I just kept embellishing it. And, you know, I think it was really fun though. So thank you so much, Meg, for doing this buddy color with me. Next up, we have the Pirate Girl. I was a little worried about this page because there's a lot of wood and I didn't want it to be too brown, but I used some different tones and I think it all looks fine. I really had a good time doing this page, and this was the first time that I was doing a little ripped jean effect that I added with some Posca, and then I also added some glitter to the jewels with glitter marker and other Posca on the clouds and on the sword. So yeah, I had a lot of fun doing that. And then these eyes are actually a technique that Nikki in Niagara does, where she does the top a darker color and then the bottom a lighter color like this, and blends the middle with a colorless blender, and it actually looks really cute. Mine don't always turn out that good, but these turned out pretty well. Not as good as Nikki's, of course, but still had fun with that. And then I believe this was the first page I colored in this book, the little DJ girl. This one was a little bit hard for me to color because it was in a club that I assumed was going to be dark, so I didn't want it to be completely, you know, all just gray and black. So I added some of this purple in here along with the grays, and I knew I wanted her hair to be blue, and that was about it, and I kind of just worked from that. And I also didn't know what these things were at the bottom of the page, so what I ended up doing was making them glow sticks, and I used some highlighters and some other more of the neon shades of the Ohuhu markers to get this sort of glow stick effect. And of course I have some Posca on this page, and some metallic Sakura jelly roll. So yeah, this one was fun. And then the last page I have done in here was actually a color along that Nikki in Niagara was doing in one of her vlogs. So I had a lot of fun just listening to her and kind of doing the colors that she recommended for this page. I also tried to do the same eye effect that she likes to do with the 2 different colors in the iris, and mine definitely didn't turn out as good as hers did. So it's something that I want to continue working on. But I had a lot of fun with this one. So that's everything out of Chibi Girls Grayscale by Jade Summer. Next up, we have Whimsy Girls Through the Decades. This is Hanna Lynn's newest book. Super cute, has tons of girls from different eras, and this was the first buddy color I ever did, and surprise, surprise, it was with the lovely Dani Buttons, and we did this sock hop girl. I like the way hers turned out better than mine. But for this, what I did was looked up pictures of those old-time 50s diners. I really remembered kind of that like pink, the pale pink and that mint green color scheme. So I went with that and then did this black and white floor on the bottom. So I really liked doing that. And then I did that with the Kelly Art markers, and I also did some embellishments with gel pen and Posca pen. And then I had to look up some reference photos of a jukebox as well. And I kind of did this brown color with some metal, and then there is actually glitter marker on the jukebox light there, if you can see that. I don't know if it's glittery enough, but that's a water-based glitter marker that I got from, I think it was Target. So it was a fun one. And then the next one I have is this gorgeous singer. I'm not sure if this is from the 20s or 30s, but I really like the way her skin turned out in this one. I used Kelly Art markers, and then I went over that with some pencil. And I was also really into covering the lines again with gel pen. I did a metallic kind of green, I believe, for this curtain. I think this was actually the first time that I covered some of the line art with a gel pen. So I really enjoyed doing that. And I also kind of did this sparkle effect on her dress and on her eyeshadow. And I did that with just a white gel pen. I thought that was kind of cool, creating these little stars and such. And I think that's pretty much about it for this page. It was a relatively quick one that I had fun with. So that was from Whimsy Girls of the Decades by Hanna Lynn. Romantic Country by Eriy. I just love this book. I think I bought quite a few Eriy books before I had even colored in this one, just because I loved her style so much. Funny story that I bought the second tale before I bought the first tale. Very out of character for me, but I think I thought I liked the pictures in the second one better than the first. So I don't know, I guess I asked for this and I received it as a gift for my birthday. And I was very excited about it. But I do want to finish off my collection at some point with the first tale and, of course, the third tale. I'm one of the poor souls who doesn't have the third tale. I know it got reprinted in Japanese recently, but now I'm just feeling super completist about it and want to get the English language version. Just because I love reading some of the descriptions that she does of the mystical lands and, you know, all of the maps and things that are filled out here. So I'm waiting for an English language reprint to happen. We'll see. So this page, I really like the way that this turned out, but it took me forever. I think I started in May and finished in maybe July, I want to say. I worked on this page while I was watching Rachel at Pencil Stash color this page on her channel. And I think I used Prismacolor and Crayola for this roof and did that very similarly to how Rachel had done it in her video. And then for the rest of the page, I kind of did my own thing with some of the brick colors and the other types of colors in this page. It's a pretty weird color palette, but I still like the way that it turned out, and I definitely spent more time on this page because I just wanted to get everything perfect because I love this book so much. I also did use Distress ink in the backgrounds as well. This was my first time using Distress ink because I was just done coloring this page at a certain point and I wanted something quick to finish it. So that's the only page that I have done in this book. So that was Romantic Country, the second tale by Eriy. Next, we have Chibi Horror Grayscale by Jade Summer. I think I picked up this book maybe like first day of August, one of those. And it was still when I really wanted to color Halloween stuff earlier than everyone else. So I did a buddy color with Misty at Countrygal's coloring place. We did 2 buddy colors out of this book, and this was the first one. We did this very demented girl with some teddy bears. Don't worry, no teddy bears were harmed in the coloring of this page. I think the first thing I started with this page was the hair, and I loved the color of this hair, and so then I kind of just built off of that sort of reddish mahogany color and did the rest of the page, so that was fun. This vampire chick was a buddy color with Danielle from Dani Buttons, and we actually like how each other's pages turned out more than our own. We struggled with this page. I think we both were just kind of done with it at a certain point, but we made it through, we encouraged each other, and we finished it. The only thing I really love on this page is the color of her dress. So yeah, I colored that with Cali Art alcohol markers mostly and some gel pen. Oh, that's the wrong page here. All right, and then this is the other half of the buddy color that I did with Misty. We did this creepy mermaid girl. This was the first time I was coloring a lot of water, I think, and so I did this effect where I went over with Posca pen and left like the middle part just uncolored. And then I tried to do, make some of the stuff underwater just a tad darker than everything else. I'm not sure if it was super successful, but I really did enjoy trying to get this sort of underwater effect here. So this was with mostly Ohuhu alcohol markers and then some metallic Crayola marker. And that was out of Chibi Horror by Jade Summer. And I just love this next book, A Million Unicorns by Lulu Mayo. This is my first book by Lulu Mayo, and I picked it up for a good price off of Book Outlet. The only page I have colored in here is a buddy color with Dani Buttons. Oh man, these butterflies. Ugh. Okay, so I think Danielle had picked a couple pages in this book and asked me if it was okay if we did this page because there's a ton of butterflies on the other side, but I managed to put a piece of paper over this side and color the other part and it was fine. So this page has just primarily polychromos on it. I did some blending and shading on these leaves and had a ton of fun doing that and being a little extra. I also have some polys on the unicorns, but left them mostly white. And I did some glitter marker and gel pen for the remaining pieces on the page. And I did some distress ink for the background here, creating this watercolor effect. So I had a lot of fun doing that one out of A Million Unicorns by Lulu Mayo. Okay, y'all know I love Fall Friends by Deborah Muller. Don't have a shortage of great things to say about this book. The first page that I did in this book was the sunflower page. I just really wanted to color some sunflowers and do them all slightly different. So I did this with Cali Art markers and some glitter markers and gel pen. And you can kind of see I went over some of the sunflowers with another shade, a slightly darker shade. I'm trying to do a little bit of amateur blending here. Don't know if you can really tell on camera. But, you know, some of the sunflowers look good and some of them look a little funky. But that's fine. What else did I do on this page? I was also still trying to cover up some of the line art with gel pens and enjoying doing that type of effect here. So yeah, you can kind of see that scattered throughout the page. And then of course I won't say too much about this picture because I do have a color in chat that I'll link up above if you want to get kind of the full rundown of all of the materials and colors that I used on this page. And that was from Fall Friends by Deborah Muller. Okay, moving right along here with 50 Autumn Miniatures by Camelia Angelkova. This is actually my first book by Camelia Angelkova, and I just fell in love with this book. I need to color more in here in November, but I have done one picture in here, and that is the cute little mouse in the pumpkin. Logistically, I don't know how he's living in a pumpkin, but I don't care because he's so cute. So for this, I wanted to do a little bit more. I did some shading that you can see here with Polychromos, although I did do a marker base with Cali Arts and did a little bit more, leaving like the middle of the pumpkin a little bit whiter to create sort of a highlighted effect. And then for the rest of the page, I kind of did that same sort of pencil over marker technique, and of course threw in some gel pen and glitter because that is apparently my style. And again, that was 50 Autumn Miniatures by Camelia Angelkova. All right, nearing the end here with Yippee Kawaii by Dani Buttons from the Fun Usual Suspects. Of course, this book has been really popular. I know Jamie at JamiesColoringLove has talked about it, as well as Danielle from Dani Buttons. So we actually did an epic buddy color in this book with 6 people, really. Me and 5 others. And we did this fun space page here. So this was a buddy color with Danielle from Dani Buttons, Jamie from JamiesColoringLove, Shaina from Shaina and Colorland, Jenny from Rainy Day Coloring, and Ashley from My Coloring Journey. I'll link them all below so you can see and visit their social media and YouTube channels. But for this page, I kind of just went with a color palette and chose purples, blues, mainly with some silver and gold scattered in between. There is a ton of glitter on this page. I don't know if it kind of catches the light here, but I will say one thing is that everyone colored their astronauts purple in some form except me, and I'm mad about it. But you know, it's fine. I guess I'll have my little silver astronauts all by myself. So this is really a cute book though, and I had so much fun coloring this. I was just watching TV and kind of doing this page while watching that. So this is an easy book to color in, and it still just has a great result at the end. So thank you so much to those ladies for doing this buddy color with me out of Yippee Kawaii by Dani Buttons. And that's all she wrote, folks. That is all of the coloring that I have completed in 2020 thus far through the end of October. So, you know, it really wasn't that much. I have a lot of whips that I'm still working on, and I want to do a lot more coloring in November and December. I have some fun buddy colors lined up, so I'm really looking forward to those. And as always, I appreciate your support with you liking, subscribing, and leaving me any comments with your feedback. Thanks again. Happy coloring.